spirit. Good night.
Just 5 minutes before addressing you, there were 2 of your own neighbors came to me asking if it was possible to get back sons of theirs who are stranded in Australia and in the United States. In our mining constituency, we are receiving the most pitiful letters of the plight of men and women who have gone out to the United States, who have gone out to Canada, who have gone out to Australia and to other countries, enjoying the most wonderful protection, higher tariffs than conservatives in this country could even dream about. At the same time, not myself, but you are getting word from your own friends and relatives living in the protected countries who can give you the best evidence that tariffs in the countries where they have been tried have utterly failed to bring either work, chances of work, or prosperity to the working people. America's got its 10 million unemployed. America's got its bread queues, not even the benefit which is grudged to the unemployed in this country. And
dear Foot, we have stood for peace and disarmament. Ladies and gentlemen, what, may I ask, is this general election about? You are told it became necessary to prevent the utter ruin of the country. Don't believe a word of that nonsense. The real object is to destroy the labor movement because it resolutely refuses to agree to making the poor poorer at the dictates of great financial interests. Why did they need to appeal to the country at all? The government had its majority. Why didn't it get on with the job? What then has been the use of all these sacrifices? Now the Premier asks for a free hand. To do what? Wages and salaries have been cut. Taxes have been heaped high upon the people. Worst of all, the workless have been called upon to suffer unjustifiable cuts in their unemployment benefits. On top of all this, we have gone off the gold standard, and with rising prices, wages and benefits have been reduced still more. Now they want a free hand to impose tariffs, and thus still further to increase prices and decrease real wages. Are the electors going to stand for these severe and full?
And next week, if you remain in the same... Chairman and friends
are going to be hit very considerably by this reduction in the unemployment benefit. And so are the children. After all, a man who gets £40 a week will only have a 3% cut. The man who's going to get £40 a year has a 10% cut. Is it equality or sacrifice to say that a man who gets as much in a week as another man gets in a year, the man with the 40 pounds a week has a 3% cut due to the increase in income tax. The man with 40 pounds a year, only he has a 10% cut. Now that is...
Every year, the wealth of this country increases. Every year, there are more manufactured goods, there are more raw materials. And our job is to find a way of redistributing that wealth so that the workers, every one of us, can have enough money in our pockets to go to the shop and buy the things we want. While you have a government that insists on reducing wages, reducing unemployment benefits, reducing health, there can be no prosperity in this country. We cannot starve ourselves into prosperity, and therefore we come to you and ask you to back our policy, the socialist policy, the policy for the redistribution of wealth, the policy of the reorganization of industry on a socialist basis, so that every worker, whether by hand or blade, every worker in the whole of this country, I can't get through on my own. I can't get through with just a handful of workers. We can only win Clapham for socialism if every one of you is prepared to do your bit. We're trying to do ours. You come out and help us. And on the 27th, instead of Clapham being for a Conservative, instead of Clapham going in favour of reductions and sacrifice for the workers, Clapham will be in the socialist return and will be returning a socialist member.
Just a minute, Will.
Yes.